jury and judge, the tie that binds and pushes and shoves, forgives and forgets, bonds and cements, a counterfeit love. Blood, merciless blood, dragging my name through the mud and God awful things under the rug. Blood.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Wow. Are the mics like really loud or did somebody turn up our headsets?
I don't know.
I think
Let
the
me
headset
check.
was up. I turned mine down.
Yeah, no, they're way up. So pull those down to the 09.
Woo! Those men last night act like they couldn't hear themselves.
Man. Good
Can they
Lord.
ever hear anything?
I'm gonna have to have a talk with Jesse.
Holy cow, these are like way up.
Yeah, I had turned mine down already because it was way too loud.
because I could actually hear the music playing sitting at my desk.
Yeah, super. And
the
that's
head-
coming
from
through the
the
headphones.
They must be deaf.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's a good morning here on JoCo Vibes. I'm Tiffany Carlen with Nona Reed, and we got two sassy sisters joining us at the table this morning. Introduce yourselves, ladies.
Brianna.
Sarah, and we're Reeves girls.
Woohoo!
They've been around. This Reeves family's been around the Johnson County area for a very long time. Am I right?
Yes.
Or am I right? Am I right?
1980.
I'm right.
Well, because grandmother and papa moved way before that.
Tarrant County.
Yeah.
Fort Worth.
Well, in the area. I mean,
Well,
you guys are from here.
Yes.
And we're just it's just a girls. It's hump day, okay? And we're safer to be than at a table with girls.
That's right.
Mark safe. What is it when you do that thing on Facebook?
Yeah.
They go, Mark safe from hump day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We ought to have that.
I keep getting that saying, "Are you marked safe from the weather?" I'm like,
Oh, 'cause
No,
you
I'm
just
not.
said
Those
Oh,
don't actually
it's-
even
it's
show
actu-
up.
No, it's
Where
on
does it show up?
Pokemon Go. So
Oh.
when
Oh.
Oh my
Poke your
gosh.
mom.
Yes.
Todd and I call it poke your mom.
The funniest thing ever
wanna play
was
Poke
I
Your
was
Mom?
gonna go over to her house on the 4th of July, and I was like, "Okay, I'm on my way. What are you doing?" And she said, well, "I'm running to back the pickup truck. We're running to Cana Baptist because there's a raid going on." And I pull up over there, and that big truck is full of 40-plus-year-olds playing Pokemon Go.
Oh my god.
Okay,
she videotapes this
It
too,
was
because
so
legit,
good.
I am in the
okay,
bed.
can I
when she
just
was-
say, I'm so glad I'm not the only one who still says videotape, because you know how many people get on me for that. They're like, "Oh my god, you're so showing your age right now." I'm like, I don't care because you're videoing it with your phone, but
Yeah,
we're so
uh-huh.
used to saying
Videotape.
videotape, with the old
Did you
VCR
get that on
cameras that our
tape?
dads had.
Uh-huh.
When they first came out. I mean, my parents had like the big giant bag they carried because he videoed. My mom was a wedding coordinator and consultant, and she made the silk flowers and literally did the whole weddings. And then when the VCRs came out for the lay people,
Right.
my dad would videotape the weddings. And so I mean, like they had this whole corner on what we did. It's like when I say we've done events and catering and all this stuff. We've done all of that stuff for years. I can't even tell you how many weddings I've seen in my lifetime, pulling the runner down and,
Yes.
just setting up the church and everything. And it was a blast. I loved being a part. Of course, you didn't like it in the moment because you're like, oh God, I got to leave and I got to go help my parents and blah, blah. Anyway, so yeah, it was that giant freaking camera and, he carried it around on his shoulder and, we would videotape. And so those of us who grew up hearing that still say videotape. And I don't care.
She videotaped and put it on that Snapchat there.
The snapper chatter.
The snapper chatter.
So we have one East Coast raised girl at the table with three very Texan girls. So if you can't tell who's the odd woman out at the table, you can, because sometimes you cannot tell between the Reeves girls when you're on. If you were to call me without caller ID,
We wouldn't know. Which
I
one
would
it
not
is.
know who I'm talking to.
I think I
Your
did
voice is a
call
little
one day
deeper,
or
like a
something,
bit,
and I
yeah.
thought
Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
Well,
There's
yeah,
a s-
she had you on speakerphone, and so
Oh,
I
yeah.
started talking for her, and you were like, "That's right," and I was like, "She doesn't know which one." That was.
Yeah.
She doesn't know. We're
So
about to-
Now-
they did get me.
Now the only difference is that I've known Sarah longer.
Mhm.
Right.
I've known you for what? Our kids have gone to
First
school
grade,
for
and they're 13 now.
so 8 years.
Yeah.
We've known each other 8 years. Except like in the beginning, I didn't know Loud You. So, but I've known Loud You for several years now, and so that's like the biggest difference. Like, if I walked into a bar, I'd be like, "Oh, Sarah's here."
Oh yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
I
"Is
had a
it-
friend
is
that
sister
texted me
here?"
just the other day. She goes, "I hear your sister's laugh. She's here somewhere in this bar."
and they were at like Billy Bob's.
No.
That'd be really scary if they
Yeah.
figured out
Yeah.
Billy Bob.
Sarah's here somewhere. Sarah Reeves is here somewhere.
But it
at
was a
Billy
venue
Bob's.
where there's like 3 different sitting
So,
areas,
yeah.
so it
Yeah.
wasn't a big open, and
So
they
you're like-
were in 2 different
They're
ones.
like, she's somewhere here. I
yeah,
can hear.
yeah.
You know,
Somewhere.
I get made fun of a considerable amount for my loud laugh, and I'm like, I used to try and be embarrassed about it, but now I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be happy.
You
I'm gonna
shouldn't-
laugh. I love my laugh.
You should not be embarrassed by
But
it.
I was when I was younger.
You are who you are. It's
Yeah,
like
I love
it's like
it.
my
Yeah.
sister Tamara. Oh, I'm going to get in trouble. She's a little bit louder. She is, and
She
that's
knows
okay.
that.
She knows it. She owns it, and she's like, I am who I am, and I'm not changing.
That's
and I
right.
wouldn't want you to change.
Right.
You are who you are. So if everybody
I
at the
like
bar,
myself.
if we're sitting at the rim and everybody at the bar
That's
looks
right.
over at Sarah because she's laughing, we're like,
Oh yeah,
That's right. That's right.
the entertainment is here, people. Okay.
The fun has arrived.
But don't you think that that's, I mean, being that it's Wellness Wednesday, let's just kind of talk about that then. Like accepting yourself for who you are, how important that is. Could you, imagine, I mean, because we kind of talked about a little bit about back to school yesterday, and we'll kind of tie that in here a little bit today too, that all these kids going back to school, it's a horrifying time because kids do not accept other kids for who
Mhm.
they are. And everybody's up in each other's business.
Yeah.
Right. Like just mind your damn business. Go
Mhm.
be you and don't worry about it. I was talking to my
Kids
son's.
don't accept themselves for who they are.
That's
the
true.
biggest
But
thing.
you
Which
know-
makes it worse because they even put a heavier burden on themselves.
That shit begins at home. That shit
adults
begins
do
at
it
home.
Too. Adults do it too.
That's my
they do
point.
it all the time.
Yeah.
But these are learned behaviors for
Mhm,
children,
mhm.
right? We talked about that, with bullying and anything else. That's a learned
Yeah,
behavior.
because they don't know to be ashamed of anything until they're told to be ashamed of something.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Right. It's the same thing with like your body type or being naked or, oh, you shouldn't let your children see you naked. Listen, my kids walk in the bathroom all the time and
It's their fault if
and
they
still,
didn't knock.
That's
right.
literally
Exactly.
they
They're
one
old
will
enough
walk
to
in
know better.
and as I hear the voice, I go, I'm butt naked. I'm just letting you know because I'm in my space right now.
That's right.
Or he'll walk in and go, oh God, Mom. I'm like, yeah,
you
this
walked
is
into my space.
I'm in my bathroom.
Yeah.
If you don't have to walk in here. But it just anyway, so it just kind of goes back to that whole idea of like it's like Adam and Eve, right? Like let's go way back, shall we?
Mhm.
Right.
They didn't know there was any shame to being naked
Right.
until that dirty little snake got involved and that was it,
Yeah.
and you start to look that way. But I mean, it's just body parts,
Mhm.
I mean, this whole idea of even teachers shaming kids over their dress code, like there's a school district here in town, and I can't talk too much in detail, but when I'm allowed to share more details, I will. Where a girl was in the classroom and she had like little cuts in her jeans. This is like this past school year, and it's not the Burleson School District. It's a Johnson County, but it's not Burleson. And the teacher said, stand up for me. And she had her hold her hand down. She goes, that cuts above where the fingertip length.
Mhm.
Okay. She's wearing jeans. So she sends her to the office and the office calls the mom and the mom said, screw you. I'm not coming to bring child new clothes. Let me send you pictures from here's girls at UIL wearing tiny little mini skirts and they weren't sent home. So I'm not leaving work to come put something on.
A slit.
Yeah.
Right.
So the vice principal proceeded to take bright colored duct tape and covered all the holes on her jeans, all the slits on her jeans, and sent her back to class. So this student goes back to class and she's humiliated.
Right. Mortified.
Absolutely mortified, and sends an email to a friend and says, I just want to kill myself. I'm so embarrassed. I just want to kill myself.
Right.
Well, the system snagged the email.
Oh my gosh.
And contacts the vice principal. The vice principal picks up the phone and calls the teacher and says, please send so-and-so back to the office.
So let's make a bigger deal about it.
Doesn't say anything about it. No. Sends the student back to the vice principal's office. The vice principal goes, oh, your mom and I worked it out okay, and pulls all the duct tape off of her jeans and sends her back to class, and never calls to inform the parent that there was a suicide threat. No notification to the parents. No, didn't send her to the counselor, didn't do any of that. And so, I mean, this is it's a multifold thing. So, I mean, there's just so much in that to like, what is your freaking problem as a teacher that you give a shit about slits in a girl's jeans?
Right.
I mean, that to me is
That's
are
nitpicking.
It's nitpicking, but you're also
and
projecting
it's a slit right here on the thigh area, not on their butt.
Right.
Where half their cheek is popping out.
Well, didn't you know the thigh?
I mean, come on.
Also the shoulder.
No,
I
those
mean,
are so
the difference
sexy.
between a 2-inch shirt and a
You
spaghetti
can't see
strap.
I
the
know, right?
crown Of
I
your
know.
shoulder. I'm like the crown.
Again,
I think
The
they
that's
just
crown.
forget.
telling our boys
That it's
that
okay
this is
to-
sexual
Yeah.
if a woman is showing this.
Right.
And that
You
it's
know?
acceptable for you to
Yeah.
act on
My very
Grooming.
How
my
about you just
very dear
grooming?
friend, Mindy, she is just like, if something like that goes on, she's the first one I call. I'm like, you want to hear it now? And I'm like, okay, so this happened, this similar type situation. She said, I'm sorry, but I just need somebody to understand this right now, that I should be able to walk into a room naked and not be sexually harassed or assaulted.
Right.
Exactly.
You can look, but don't touch.
You shouldn't
Right.
feel like you're going to get assaulted just because you're,
You didn't
know,
ask for
Do you know
it
what's so
because you were
crazy?
naked,
Okay.
right?
So in elementary school, when the kids were in uniforms, they had to, if they were going to wear a skirt, they had to wear leggings underneath the skirt.
or shorts.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I'm talking about my daughter when she was at Stribling Elementary. She leaves Stribling Elementary to middle school, and the dress code, the uniform dress code changes.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
get this backwards thinking of these stupid dress code things, right? So she goes and she's going to wear a skirt on one of the first, 2 weeks, and we put the leggings on underneath it. I get a phone call. I won't say who at the school it was at the time, but man, I just can't stand her. Anyway, again, I
add
think it's
that one to the list.
to me, I think it's a lot of self-projection from a teacher or disciplinary when
Right.
you're over stuff like this. Because Mackenzie was like, this tiny little thing, and so she's got a skirt on with the leggings on underneath it, and so I get the call, and I said, and she's like, I'm sorry, but they're not allowed to wear leggings underneath the skirts, and I was like, excuse me, can you explain that to me? Well, boys tend to flip the skirts up. I was like, exactly. All right,
So-
we're going to talk about, I'm going to tell you the rest of the story when we get back. We'll take a quick 2-minute break. Stay with us.
Abnormal realities.
I love my mom.
Yep. She sent me a message.
My mom
on-
did?
Yeah, Wednesday night. And she invited me over tomorrow night to watch Titanic and share a bowl of popcorn. And I accepted.
You did?
Yep.
That'd be fun.
And she calls it Chaps Only Night every Saturday night.
Look,
Miss Dixie,
Look,
how
I-
you doing? He said, it's my mom, bro. All right, it's my mom.
I want to hear the answer to the Titanic and popcorn. Go ahead, Mom. What's up?
Oh!
Hi, boys.
Hi,
I just
Mom.
wanted to ask Rocky if he wanted butter on that popcorn or not.
Oh,
I
my
would rather
God.
have the butter somewhere else, but if popcorn's the only place I can have it, I'll take it.
Hey,
dude.
nobody says I can't roll around in it for a little bit more.
All right, Mom.
That is my
Love you.
girl. I love you,
Mom.
Dixie.
Abnormal realities
My mom, love you.
Dixie.
Bye, I love you too.
with Ron and Rocky. Weekdays, 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. on JoCo Community Radio.
Holy crap.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
There ain't nothing wrong with that.
JoCo Community Radio. Listen live at tunein.com.
Welcome back to the second half of JoCo Vibes here on JoCo Community Radio. We are proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and we are live 24/7 on the TuneIn Radio Network. TuneIn JoCo is the place to find, tuneinjoco.com is the place to find all the ways to listen and watch. And the station app is also available for free on Android and Apple devices. Simply search your store. Check out our lineup and more at jococommunityradio.com. This episode and more brought to you by Next Level Claims, making your insurance work for you. So reach out to your Texas sales rep at 844-TEX. Hail. It's too late. Are you trying to say it?
I'm having the.
That's 844-839-4245. Get them in your corner before the next storm hits because hail happens.
She's not
And
saying it loud
insurance
enough.
companies do not like to pay the full amount of the claims. So you got to have some help with that. Commercial hail. 844-TEX. Go ahead, try it again. The Texan accent of Nona Reed sounds like hell when she says it. So be sure to dress your arms.
Distinguish the difference.
Be sure to dress your arms and more at thetiffy.com. And of course, if you've got spine and joint pain, you need to check out Dr. Can Ho. Dr. Ho in the house.
Oh, hell.
Dr. Can. That's his real name. Dr.
his real
Can
name.
Ho. Uh-huh. And he does phenomenal work. In fact, one of our own show hosts, Vet for Vets host Angela Roca, is one of his patients. He's located in Crowley, spine and joint pain, and he will take care of you and get rid of that pain for you. So you definitely want to check him out. The Spine and Joint Center in Crowley, Texas. So we thank all of our wonderful partners for partnering with us, if you will. So anyway, I'm Tiffany, Carlen, Nona Reed, and we've got the Reeves sisters.
Woohoo!
That sounds so good. I feel like you need your own show.
Oh, good God.
Lord.
Right?
I can only imagine where that show would go.
Right. So all right. So before we went to break, we were kind of talking about, what happens with these kids when they go back to school. And I was telling a story about dress code mishaps with my daughter and this crazy stuff that, happens. Like, I was like, so you'd rather my daughter have on a skirt with no leggings underneath it so that when she gets her skirt flipped, you can see her panties versus seeing leggings. Well, boys just get stuff in their head when they see underwear. Yeah.
It'll be worse.
Yeah.
Like what?
I had to go bring her something else to wear. And then I went and kind of argued this up at the ISD's office with, I can't remember her name, who was over uniform area. And I brought the skirt and the pants up there. They're still there, by the way. I left them. I never went back because I was like, this is the dumbest conversation I've ever had. I absolutely despise uniforms. So I thank COVID for taking care of that for us, because I was completely against them. And I think what happens is you get some people on a school board who just have such old school thinking.
That's when it was an old school. I know we can think of some of the people we know that was on there.
And they just don't realize something, that at this stage, these ages, right? Kids are hormonal. And my dad used to say to me, he goes, you'd look good in a burlap sack.
Right.
You know, and
Yeah.
the hormones will do that. They don't care. Kids don't care what you're wearing.
Right.
They look and they're horny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are transitioning. Their bodies are transitioning, their minds, their hormones, they're in that stage of horniness. And no clothing
It doesn't matter.
is going to change that. What you have to focus on, and this is where I wish they would get out of the visual side of it and just focus on talking to kids about not just safe sex, but how about self-respect and keeping your damn hands to yourself. You know, like like my OBGYN likes to say, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And he means that literally, because when you lay down to get examined, up on the ceiling is a poster of a pussy cat.
You know that
And he's
saying
spread
actually
out.
came from skinning catfish. That saying's for
Skin a
skinning
cat.
catfish.
Yes. There's
That's
more than a way to
funny.
skin a cat. But
Yeah.
his point is, you know,
Sorry.
you don't have to have sex to get there, you know.
Yeah,
You go
no.
take care of yourself. Okay. And that's not a dirty word either. I mean, you know, if you're not talking about that stuff with your kids, there's
Somebody is.
somebody is, that's right.
Right.
And let me tell you, Google keeps
Google.
its history. So if you want to see what your kids
That's right.
are looking at, just take a look at their Google history and you will find out that, oh, they are learning this from the internet.
Right.
Yes. And all the kids are talking about it. I mean, I've had things come out of my boy's mouth where I'm like, you know what that is? Oh my gosh. All right, let's have a
Yeah.
conversation about that. And then we have a conversation about it. I'm like, there's things that, you know, I don't want to talk about with my sons, but guess who they come to? Mom.
Mhm.
So, and I'd rather have that conversation than not have that conversation. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, just be mindful as a parent as you go, your kids are going back to school, that, you know, your inner shame and your, you know, we project that onto our kids. We really do.
Yeah.
And just be open about the conversations and what's really happening, and so that your kids will be safe. You know, it's not a just don't talk, don't do that. Just don't do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay, that works. No.
Yeah, we all know that,
That
doesn't
works.
work.
No.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we just had this conversation at my house when my mom was there, and we started talking about, you know, sex.
Look at you all
And,
giggling about it.
uh,
What are you just talking about?
Well,
Oh,
it's just so funny
sex.
because, like, my mom was like that one that, well, when you feel like you're ready, come to me. Well, I came to her and she's like, you're just too young. No.
How old were
And-
you?
15.
15. Okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And it was with my long-term boyfriend. And yeah, she was like, it might have been 15, 16. So it was around that age. And she completely like blew me off. Well, that didn't stop me. I was still having sex with him.
Right.
Right.
I mean, it is
It
hump
just made
day.
it where you
that
couldn't really
was
talk to her about
that
it.
was one of the things that I was very vocal with my children about, was let's talk about it. Don't hide it from me. Don't hide it from your dad. It does need to be discussed. I mean, we're not idiots. Y'all are teenagers. Well, now one's not, but
Well, I think people forget too. Like, I mean, everybody looks at like modern day stuff and they're like, oh no, that's too young. People were getting married at 15.
yes.
Even 14. Todd's grandparents, his dad's parents, were 15 and 14.
Daddy's
Daddy was-
first wife was 14 when they
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
married.
But he was a lot older.
He
We've
was
had that.
17.
He was
Yeah,
17.
3 years.
17,
They had all
14?
graduated high school and they were sitting around drinking, all the buddies, and they said, "Hey Sam, we're gonna go up to Ardmore. We're gonna go get married." And he was like, "Well, all right, I'll go too."
Yeah.
Because in Oklahoma, you didn't have
My
to do a
grand-
blood test.
Yeah. My grandparents were 9 years apart. He had already went to war and came back, and my grandmother never even knew he was in World War II.
Oh, wow.
Because of their age difference.
Mhm.
So she was, I can't quote her age, but she was young too. But I can tell you right now, my parents were, my mom was 16 when she married my dad. with my grandmother's approval, but they didn't have me till she was 18. So it wasn't like, oh, she's pregnant.
Well, it's the
Right.
same thing with my mom. She dropped out of high school,
Right.
she went to beauty school, and I mean, it was the Grease movie completely. I mean, she dropped out, went to beauty school. Yes. Got married at 17, had her first at 18, second at 19. And my dad was in Vietnam, and he had my eldest sister Shanna during his first marriage. I mean, he was a freaking kid too. And then they got together and made the Brady Bunch, and had 4 more. And my mom had 7 kids, or gave birth to 6 by the time she was 29. And I remember, 28. She was 28. And I remember turning 28.
My first one.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I remember turning
25.
28 and going, my mom had 6 kids. Like, I was like, 6 children. I'm like, I couldn't even imagine having one yet. And I was 28. I mean, I got married at 29, had my first at 30, my second at 31, and my third at 37. And so it was just, and at the time my mom would say things like, you're just going to be a spinster. And I'm like, Mom, I'm 20. Like, that conversation, I was like, I'm 25 years old. I don't have to be married yet, but she was just going off of what she did. She hurried up and grew up and went into that life. And then she did later go back and get her GED, and then went on to college. And so, I mean, it's okay. Nobody's going to, fall off. It's just so interesting to watch, when you look back at the stigmas of, like, when out of wedlock marriages, and they would ship the girls off to go have babies somewhere else in another state, or force them to have abortions.
9 times out of 10, it wasn't even part of their choice.
Right.
Oh yeah.
It was never their
choice.
Their choice. They were either shipped off they were forced to have abortions.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Pregnancy.
The
But
pregnancy
yeah,
itself.
that too. I mean, rape is a real thing. And, and so, I mean, we have to be that generation, and the generation before us. Well, not the generation before us, because they were the ones who had a major, don't talk about that. Let's shove everything in the closet.
If we don't talk about it, it
And
doesn't
nobody will
exist.
ever know that when you open the door and all that closet junk falls out.
No, the laundry baskets do overflow at some point.
Yeah.
Yes,
Closets.
they do. They
No
do.
matter how many you have.
Tide stick will get it. No.
It'll
What
all come out
song?
in the wash
Thank
for
you.
Miranda
It
Lambert.
all come out. It all come out.
Woo-woo,
in the
you got
wash.
it. You win the prize. All right. So, I mean, just, and I mean, I know we're kind of talking about the parents, but we got to talk about the teachers too. I mean, they come to school with their own baggage too. And children don't know that. We parents know that they're coming to school with whatever crap happened in their morning. Their kids wouldn't get up. They had a fight with their spouse, or, the argument, or they found out bad news. And so it's what teachers don't, or need to keep in the forefront of their brains is, okay, these kids don't know. Like, if they had a reminder, like in their car, or however it is that they get to work, or something that was on their desk that reminded them every day, remember, the kids don't know what kind of morning you had or what happened last night in your house. So don't take it out on them, I mean, and that happened to my son last year. And I mean, we're putting that to bed and letting that go. But the point is that I wish we had some way for teachers to really put that somewhere in front of them. They don't know what crappy, shitty news you just got, or let's be a little further real, or that your husband slapped you around this morning, or whatever it is. These kids don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of
and
times
they don't need to.
No,
they don't need to know. But we have to. It's the same thing as a parent.
Yeah.
I mean, we have shitty mornings or shitty nights, and sometimes we take it out on our kids, and we don't mean to. And then, hopefully you wake up and you go, oh, stop it. This has nothing to do with them. But our teachers are going into care and teach a bunch of children that don't belong to them. And so I feel like there has to be another way for them, or some kind of morning reminder, or, maybe even it's a principal thing in the morning, like quick pep talk. Hey guys, before the kids come in, remember whatever happened this morning to you on the drive-in, or before the drive-in, or last night, that's where it belongs. Right.
Yeah.
Don't take it out on these kids. because this is your job. I mean, and it's difficult to do that.
Mhm.
But if you have to, and Diana and I talked about this a little bit yesterday morning, take a deep breath, walk out of the classroom for a minute, get your mind right, and then walk back in and start over. So we can all start over at a different point. It's the same thing with the students too, when they're making dumb choices because they're kids.
Yeah.
Right.
I grew up in school seeing or hearing it and seeing teachers or coaches or whatever, and they always say, leave your attitude at the door.
Right.
Drop it off, whatever it is, drop it off at the door before you come in here. And you don't have to pick it back up when you go back out. But
It's
that
your
was always-
choice, but
Right.
it's not. It doesn't belong in my classroom.
Yeah. And so I know that has been a prevalent thing that was talked about when I was a teenager. But
Well, I remember being in I'll call it middle school. It's before I left private Catholic school and went to public school. And I remember having a teacher who just started crying, and she walked out and asked another teacher to come in for a minute, or the vice principal came in. And it was, I think she had gotten bad news or, from about a family member or something, but whatever it was, she didn't take it out on us in that moment. She left and she was a yeller. I mean, she was totally Mrs. Matesic. Was that her name? I think it was Mrs. Matesic. And so but I remember having empathy for her, like, oh, something's wrong, but she didn't stay there and take it out on you. Like I had I had one nun. I'll say there was one nun, and I'll say who she is, Sister Ellen Mary, because I'm not Catholic, and I wasn't raised Catholic. I'm Protestant, and so we were Protestants going to a Catholic school, and that just ranked on these on this one Irish nun, and she despised me, and it's because I went to a Bible church. I mean, I was like the best religion student. You had to take the religion class, and I knew the Bible. I'm like, you couldn't get around me. But she was also our history teacher, and so we were in a point of history, and where the Anglican, the Protestants broke away from the Catholic and created the Anglican Church, and they're warring and all this stuff. And I remember with her Irish brogue, she looks up, she goes, "I haven't heard much from you, Tiffany." Like the Protestants, Protestants were being, slain, and she was like happy about it. She was like, "Oh, I haven't heard much from you today," and I'm like, "God, you're a bitch," And I'm like, "What is?" And I'm thinking, like, "What is?"
Now I definitely don't want to be Catholic.
What is diabolical?
You're not helping your cause.
Well, my mom had to fight for us to be able to go to the school. We literally lived across the street from the school, and it was deemed a private Christian school. And so my mom had to go in front of the whole board and go, "No, you can't keep us out because this is registered as a private Christian school, and we're Christians." And she was like, and so we went, and it was great. I went from second grade to 7th grade, and then switched over to public school. And I'd say that was a big adjustment, but it really wasn't.
Yeah,
It just,
Yeah,
it's not.
It's just
different labels.
Yeah,
or
we talked
semantics.
You cannot hide the real world in school uniforms and private schools. Okay.
No.
The stuff is happening in every school. I don't know about I didn't go to private. Like a lot of my friends went on to like St. Joseph's. They went on to, the private Catholic high schools and stuff. And they were all still dirty little hoes.
Yeah.
You didn't change anything. So the only thing that has to be prevalent all the time is the conversations at home. I mean, that's what it is. You put your kids in the care of any school, and kids talk. Hey, just let me show you what I found on Google last night.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. So, anywho,
I'm glad we didn't have Google then. I'm glad we didn't have cameras on phones back then.
So we couldn't videotape.
Right.
Videotape.
Videotape.
Well, you weren't hiding that you were videotaping then. At that moment. You can hide it now.
Yeah.
you could somewhat hide it. I mean, sometimes
That big
you can
old
hide
thing
it.
on your shoulder? No.
No, the big camera. Yeah, you're like, wait, are you filming? No,
No, that red light means nothing.
I'm just carrying it.
the red light means stop. It's not working. That's so funny.
Can't get it to work.
Hey, will you hand me those boxes right there? Hand me those boxes right there.
Boxes.
So, I mean, prep for school, just take a look at whatever your school's handbook says about dress code, right? Save your children. And, you know, if they got a favorite pair of jeans and you need, and one of those little slits is higher than the fingertip and no one wants to deal with that, you know, that one bitchy little teacher that's going to send them to the office for it.
God, that drove me crazy.
I have a trick. Put some Velcro on the inside of that or duct tape on the inside and tape up that upper slit that's too high so that they could still wear their favorite pair of jeans to school. Or you can put a pair of leggings or cut leggings, you know, cut them so that they're not sweating their booties off in 2 pairs of pants. I digress. But it kind of all goes, I mean, it goes together, you know?
I think the best thing that for parents to do is get involved and know what's going on.
Yes.
Know your curriculum that is being taught to your child. Know the dress code. Know.
And if they have a Chromebook.
No.
KNOW.
Right.
No.
Get some knowledge.
Okay. So it's hump day and we got to talk about some different wacky stuff, right? So this is called What the Heck. I'm still missing our other one. I'm going to have to reorder.
It's her favorite deck.
The other one is, Would You Rather?
Oh.
Now, somebody
And
stole
it.
it.
Disappeared.
Someone stole it.
Grew feet.
I feel like I packed it when we went to Cancun last fall. So we could just do something
into your
No,
stuff.
no, we've had it since then because
we have?
Yeah.
I could have swore we used it.
Yep.
Someone stole it. So anyway, I'm going to have to order a new one. But all right. What set of items could you buy that would make the cash? Oh, we did this one. You know what? We did this one, but they weren't here. So we'll ask them. Okay.
Yeah.
What set of items could you buy that would make the cashier the most uncomfortable?
The cashier uncomfortable?
Yeah.
I was always uncomfortable with condoms and tampons.
Okay.
But I don't.
You want to make them uncomfortable. So
but you were
I guess
cashier,
if it's like
right?
a young kid, like if it was a young boy and I'm buying my panties.
I mean,
Poor
I'm
guy.
thinking probably like a douche, some duct tape.
All at once, like
All at
the
once.
whole
all at
package.
once, all the things, like
this is weird.
yeah,
You're shopping at Target's apparently, right?
sure,
You're gonna get all of it.
Mhm.
you bet.
I said what? Multiple.
You said the hugest cucumber
biggest-
you could find, 2 melons, and something else.
and condoms.
Condoms.
Mm.
That was my mixture. So I like that. That's a good mixture.
Yeah,
Duct
I
tape
mean,
is always good.
You got to have
Yeah.
duct tape. I mean, it fixes
Mhm.
everything. Between duct tape and baling wire, you can do just about anything.
WD-40 if it squeaks.
Damn.
It's not just a name; it's a lifestyle. We're Reeves.
Oh, heavens.
I like it. All right. This kind of goes. This is good. I like this one too. What would be the creepiest thing you could say while passing a stranger on the street?
Ooh.
Creepiest thing.
So I mean, it's a stranger. So just randomly,
The creepiest.
I don't know. Like today's day and age where everybody's wearing their headphones and talking on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't think about that. That's not the scenario right now. You're creating a whole nother scenario. And this is just what would be the creepiest thing you could say while passing a stranger on the street. You could preface it if it's a man or a woman.
I folded your pajamas for you.
I like it. I like it.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
Don't worry, I locked the door before I left your house.
I
That
know
kinda
that
stuff.
would be, yeah.
The problem is, so part of the problem is with that though, is that so many people are on their headphones that like, I can't tell half the time if Diana's on the phone or not.
Right.
No, right?
And I'm like, are you talking to me? She goes, no, I got my earbuds. And I'm like, gosh darn it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like I thought, so
Uh-huh.
then people look like they're talking to themselves all the time.
Right.
So it would
Some
have to
people
be,
are.
Well,
Right.
yeah, there is that.
it would have to be in the right scenario, I think.
Right.
You got something
Yeah.
creepy that you would say?
I haven't came up with anything.
All right. Okay. What Guinness World Record do you think you could break in the future? Oh my God, I cannot say mine. I can't. I can't because it's an ongoing joke.
Sorry.
Fastest hand in 2 counties.
What was the world record that just happened here?
There's a whole thing that goes with that, but that's all I
See
can
how she
say.
slipped that by real quick?
Yeah. I could say that could be a creepy thing in passing
Oh,
a stranger
yeah.
too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying. They'd be like, "What? What the hell is that?
What the hell did you just
Come
say?
on, what could you do? Man, can't have silence around.
Okay,
Come on,
okay.
sister. What you got,
Okay,
sister?
then choose something
Just
else.
blurt out the first thing that comes to your mind. What Guinness World Record do you think you could break in the future?
Loudest laugh. I don't
That's
know.
you,
No.
not me.
Loudest, longest laugh.
Yeah.
Could be. What about you?
We'd be close by.
Right.
There's so many things I could think about with you because you've showed up at my house in work gloves
Oh my gosh.
and looking for like a hitch
Uh-huh.
ball, and I'm going, but why are you still wearing your work gloves?
Because she was looking for smaller balls.
Yes, she was looking for smaller balls.
She was trying to find balls that fit.
Yep.
Oh, that's so many levels.
We can even talk about the whole attire too.
Yeah,
That
that was a rough day. That was rough.
All right. Would you ever consider writing to someone in jail as a pen pal?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
I want to know things. Why do they do stuff? Only if they're guilty, because I really want to know.
They'd have to admit that they're guilty though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
want to know all
and
that.
no,
Anybody
they
else?
would
How they-
never get out.
I'm really bad at being a pen pal.
Well, I mean, I am
I'm a horrible
too,
pen
but
pal.
out
Yeah.
of sight, out of mind. So, but
Remember I had a
still.
pen
Yeah,
pal
they're
in-
in jail for a
UK at
while.
one time.
I mean, I'll pray for you. I'll write letters to heaven.
No, I just want to know their inner workings. Like, what made them do? I mean, like, you learn so much about somebody when they're writing. Because I say that not everybody, but I write, and that's how I can communicate more efficiently about how I feel or whatever. And so to think about somebody who's crazy or
Mhm.
they have done some crazy stuff, I would love to watch their penmanship, even like how they write. Even would just be
That's all on my
Curved,
see.
so
That's
many
stuff.
things.
That stuff's all on my
left
songs
to right.
and in my unpublished songs songbook. Like this is some stuff that will never get published. And yeah, I mean, I would type up the letter. I'm just terrible about putting it in the envelope and mail. I got to go
Finding a
mail a
stamp.
freaking envelope.
I'd start it, and that's about it.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today, guys. I appreciate you joining the table. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Check out the rest of the lineup at tuneinjoco.com. Have an amazing day. God bless and be kind.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, JoCo Community Radio.
Let's be honest. Wheelchairs are heavy, bulky, and ugly. If you carry a wheelchair in your